good, guys? We're back at it again with another video. As you see from the title, today we're going to be talking about things that I've learned, things that I've taken or, things that I've taken note of from the pros that I've been around throughout my entire career. I don't know, how many times I've said it in the videos at this point. Like, I've seen maybe 6 to 7, maybe even more, pros up close throughout my career, whether that be, they're on my team. In AAU, we got Zion, or players that I'm playing against, Collin Sexton, or other pros in Georgia or in the South that I've played against. Or you got players like Sharife Cooper, Isaac Okoro, who I was playing against back in summer league in high school, and these dudes were really young. We'll talk about it. But there are certain things that I've learned from every single one of these players. Like, it might have been a tendency, it might have been something that they do off the court, it might have been their work ethic. But there was something that I've taken from all of these players that I want to tell you guys about, so that one day, again, you can use some of these tips, some of these things that I can tell you to help you achieve your goal. I figured I'd start it out, taking you guys through my career. And when I saw these players and certain things that I've learned, the first players that we're going to start to talk about are Sharife Cooper and Isaac Okoro. We'll also throw Scoot in there, Scoot Henderson as well. Of course, he went to Cal High School. Shout out to him also. He just signed that 7-figure Puma deal. With Scoot, I remember specifically standing upstairs in our main gym, overlooking the floor, and watching Scoot play up when he was in like 6th grade. And I remember saying to somebody, like, what grade is he in? Like, cause he was hooping, right? And then I also remember walking into summer league. I want to say this is either my sophomore or junior year. I want to lean more towards I was going into my junior year. But I remember walking into summer league. I think the gym is called Shoot 360 now. Walking into there, and I see this dude with a McEachern jersey on, right? And he already like swole, but I can see his face is young. He's younger than I was at the time. Then come walking behind him is this little guard, like he's this little short guard. Obviously, I already kind of knew that was Sharife because, the family, Cooper family, his sister, already knew who that was. But Isaac, I kind of knew, right? But I'm looking at Sharife, of course, off the first look. I'm like, oh, yeah, he's short, We're not really worried. I'm looking at Isaac. I'm like, I don't know who this is. He's swole, but we about to see because we were about to play them for the next game. When I tell you guys, keep in mind, my high school team didn't get to be, on the better side probably until my junior year, senior year. So maybe it was a little bit earlier because we got beat, right? We got beat. And keep in mind, Isaac and Sharife, I'm pretty sure were freshmen at the time. What I keep saying is, what grade are they in? That is one of the first things that I've learned, especially from players that end up becoming pros. And I tell you guys this in a lot of videos, there are going to be players. We'll talk about it a little bit more when we go to Zion later on in the video, but there will be players in your career that, I talked about it on TikTok, everything, that are going to be able to wake up, get out of bed, and drop 30. They're going to be players like that. They're going to be players like Isaac Okoro, who are freshmen, about 6'5", 6'6", whatever, however tall he was, swole as mess, right? Same thing, you got Sharife. He might have been on the shorter side, but he's killing as a freshman. When I'm watching Scoot, and I feel like he was in like 6th grade, and he's playing like 8th and killing. This is one of the first things, and I tell you guys this all the time. I said it in one of our recent videos. Everybody is not the same. Which when I talk about putting in that work, it becomes even more important once you really realize that there are some players out there that wake up crazy talented, and you got to catch those guys. You got to catch them. When I'm watching Scoot play up, right, he might not be, I might not have been in trouble, with him taking my spot, so to speak. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to get to college. I'm trying to get to the league. And this is the talent that's coming up. I got to step it up. Same thing. I don't even think I had offers the first time I saw Sharife and Isaac. But I played them, and all of a sudden I realized, hold on, B, you might be a little taller. I think by this point I'm 6'6", maybe 6'7", and I'm thinking like, hold on, you might not be as good as you think you are. You need to get in the gym because these two freshmen, Isaac and Sharife, are like this. What do you think the other players are like, in their class at the top? What do you think the players that are actually in your class be at the time? What do you think they look like? If these freshmen right here were cooking y'all, right? And again, this is before I had any offer. So I had to see this close up. Scoot, you know what I'm saying? Isaac, Sharife. I had to see it close up to kind of get it in my head. A lot of you guys need to learn this, that there are a lot of players out there, a lot of really good ones. So you better be working because someone else is, right? So then we move into AAU. And at this point, we'll talk about, things that I've learned from Zion. With Z, it is a little bit similar to the same thing with the players we were just talking about in terms of I had to think, hold on, they're how old? Okay, I'm slacking because he's younger than me and he's way better than me. But Z, it's a little bit different when you have a player like that. Honestly, a generational level, talent and being able to see that, close up, because people don't really understand. Like this dude, he didn't live in the same state we did. So he came to I think he came to our first practice. Zion came to maybe our first practice. Like that was it. After that, mans would just show up to games and drop 30. Literally, so when I say that, I'm not pulling that out of nowhere. I would literally see it happen. He would pull up to games, drop 30 from out of state, and go home. So in my mind, when I'm watching this, when I'm on the court, when I'm watching him, at the same time, I'm thinking, B, I don't know what you've been doing, but if the younger kids look like this, you're going to phase out pretty fast. So you need to be, getting better all the time, or you're going to phase out. But one of the other things that I've learned from Zion that I really want to tell you guys about, and I've talked about it when we talk about other pros that we've seen, that I've done breakdowns on the channel, and that's the simplicity of, pros. Simplicity. I've told you guys before, I knew Zion was a pro when this man would drop that same 30 points, but wouldn't do any flashy moves. I'm talking about simple, fundamental basketball. If you guys watch the NBA, you're going to see the Hardens, the Kyries that are going to hit you with a lot of, a lot of crazy stuff. But for the most part, even with those guys, they're just getting to a spot. If you really watch the league, it's pretty simple and they make it look easy. A lot of people think you can compete with the last man on the bench because they make it look so easy when they get into the game because they're all extremely fundamental. But I promise you guys, that is not the norm across basketball at all. So just him helping me understand that simplifying your game is the best thing. Get yourself a go-to move and a counter and work off of that, because this man, he was not doing anything crazy. We'd have a play called Z, right? We put him on the left elbow, let him face up, drive left. First of all, not a lot of people are just stopping Zion Williamson going left, but let's just say you do. He's going behind the back and just elevating over you, finishing with the right, or he's dunking it, or he's going to spin. He's so agile that he's spinning on the top. He's going right around you easy. Or, he gets it on the right block and he does that little kind of fake and goes baseline. Nobody's stopping that. It's simple. I remember exactly what he was doing because it was so simple. I'll never forget that. Make sure you guys simplify your games. You don't need 1,000 moves to score. I'm telling you, simplifying your game will take you further than, clear out ISOs. Let me just rock out, dribble 20 times into a step back. I'm telling you, just simplify your game. You see how far it took him. Granted, he is a freak athlete, but when we talk about these next players that I've seen, they might have been pretty athletic, but their work got them to where they are. These last two players are Georgia guards. I've told you guys before, Georgia basketball is different across the board, but these two players taught me a lot. I'm telling you. First one, Collin Sexton. Obviously plays on the Cavs. I've been playing against him since middle school, right? Second player, also actually on the Cavs, Brandon Goodwin, played with him my freshman year at Florida Gulf Coast, right? So for Collin is, to me, the biggest example of someone who just legitimately, I'm telling you guys, worked to get to where they were. Brandon and Collin, both of them showed me legitimately what work will get you, bro. Because I remember in middle school, Collin was decent. I remember he had the little braids, whatever, in middle school. He was decent. We were all little uncoordinated kids. He was a little bit better than everybody else, but he always had that dog in him. Always, bro. I have a memory of, I got the ball in the paint, right? I'm uncoordinated, so I want to pump fake, but I don't know how to pump fake yet. So when I pump fake, I jumped in the air. But of course, Collin is the one that was in the paint guarding me. So when I jump, of course, the ref calls a travel. He all in my face, take the ball. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I ain't gonna lie. I had a little bit of a vendetta out for him. I ain't like Collin that much, because then we move into high school, we go to AAU, And all of a sudden, he game elite. We playing Southern Stampede. And he working. I'll tell this story as well. We switch off, pick and roll. This man legitimately, I'm not going to lie to y'all, did this. ISO, hezzy, pull up three, hit it. Right? So, of course, me, I already kind of didn't like the dude. But one thing that I had to take from him, work. Always working. If you guys don't know Nick Stapleton, a trainer in Georgia, that's his trainer. Like, and I've also trained with him as well, like on a couple occasions. Like, this man was with Nick when I'm telling you day in, day out. Day in, day out. Like, I would hear, of course, because some of my AAU teammates, whether on his team or whatever, he in the gym before games, after games. I don't care if it's an off day. Like, I don't care if it's 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Collin Sexton is in that gym working. One of the hardest workers I've ever seen, and that dog mentality got him to the league, right? Same thing with Brandon at Gulf Coast. Brandon, little smaller guard. He'll tell you he a little bit taller, but Brandon probably like, what, 6 foot 6'1". He cut, but he not like swole. Bro, one of the first things that happened with him was we're in practice. He drives into the paint. I'm thinking I'm about to block him. You know, Brandon, he kind of small. This man jumped in the air, put his forearm in my chest. Keep in mind, this is my freshman year of college. No one's ever done this to me before. Of course, not in high school. Put his forearm in my chest. I flew back, laid it right over the rim. Right? And at this point, I'm like, okay, like, this dude might be a little different. So I honestly, like, I started hanging around B a little bit more. So I would be in there like late night, 2 a.m. Me, Brandon, Darnell Rogers, Kyle Hoffman, you know, we would be in the gym like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. We playing ones, then we go to Waffle House. Like, so just seeing the work ethic from these guys, I'm telling you, that work ethic is the biggest thing. Brandon didn't get drafted, right? Had to go play in Portsmouth, had to go play in the G League, did a whole lot of different things, kept working, stayed consistent. Now he's on the Cavs. Collin, unranked. Honestly, at a certain point, I was a little bit of a hater just because of our little history together, right? I was a little bit of a hater. We ain't gonna lie. This man stayed in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Goes from unranked to top 5 in the summer. I mean, top 10. They had him top 10. Goes from unranked to top 10 in the summer. Goes to Alabama. Plays 3-on-5, dropping crazy numbers, and ends up, you know, getting drafted. Now he's on the Cavs. So again, I want you guys to take note of these things. First thing we talked about when I was talking about, oh, what grade is he in? You guys have to understand that there is talent always coming behind you. And some of these guys that are coming behind you are extremely talented. They have God-given talent. So you're going to have to work just that much harder to catch some of these guys. Same thing with Z. Obviously, you're not going to find a lot of players like that, but you will find extremely talented guys that you're going to have to outwork. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Also, the simplicity, remember, with Zion, if you guys simplify your games, it will take you so much further. Like, I'm working kids camps right now. I've been working a couple of them, and I've been trying to tell the kids, like, you know, obviously with Steph, you see a lot of them shooting threes. And like I said, with Kyrie, you got a lot of them trying to dribble everywhere. I'm telling them, like, if you just pass and cut, move the ball, find open space, I'm telling you, when you get later on in your career, you're going to see how much of a gap you have because you've been working on your fundamentals. And then finally, I talk about it in all my videos, that work ethic, bro. You cannot, I don't care how hard you try. I don't care who you talk to, who you think you know. You cannot fake that work. You can't fake that work. But guess what? You can't hide it either. If you've been putting in that work, if you Collin Sexton, you Brandon Goodwin, if you've been putting in that work day in after day after day, it might not happen right away, but at some point, I promise you, you will reach your goal. Like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Appreciate you guys watching. Remember, if you want the one-on-one evaluations or the breakdowns that go on the channel like these, hit my website in the description. Also, if you want advice, AAU advice, okay, I'm about to go into my freshman year, things like that, or just questions or anything about the basketball world, hit my noodle. That's also going to be in the description. I appreciate you guys watching. See you guys next time with the next video.